What if a world war broke out today? Would you be prepared? In this increasingly unstable world, it's not a question of if, but when the next global conflict will occur. They usually imagined large-scale battles between tanks and jets, but the reality is that in the modern era, most of the fighting would be done with much more subtle weapons. Cyber attacks would cripple infrastructure and communication networks. Life would change in some very big ways. Let's take a closer look at what those might be. Water shortages. In a world war, energy would be used as a weapon. The price of imports would skyrocket, causing inflation to soar. This would make everyday goods and services prohibitively expensive, causing widespread financial hardship. Governments would likely impose strict censorship and surveillance measures to control the flow of information and ensure public safety. This would mean that our every move could be tracked, and our communications could be monitored. Countries would rely on electricity and other forms of energy to keep their lights on while plunging their enemies into darkness. Access to healthcare would become more difficult during a world war. The use of just a few nukes could plunge the world into a nuclear winter, a period of darkness and cold that could last for years. This would make food, water, and energy even more scarce and difficult to obtain, leading to widespread death and destruction. With hospitals being converted into military facilities and medical staff being drafted to serve as combat medics, routine medical care would be in short supply. As terrible as things would be, there would still be hope for a better future. By learning from the mistakes of the past and working together, we could rebuild our world and create a better future for ourselves and our children. Rationing would be the order of the day during a world war. Let us know in the comments below and stay tuned for more informative videos like this one. As bombs fall and entire cities are leveled, people would flee for their lives, seeking refuge in safer areas or in neighboring countries. This would lead to a mass exodus of people on a scale not seen since World War II. With resources stretched thin, governments would need to carefully allocate food, water, fuel, and other essential supplies to their citizens. This would mean saying goodbye to the days of plenty and learning to make do with less. This could lead to a surge in preventable deaths and disease. Even if you're not directly affected by the conflict, you could still face energy shortages. If the fighting cuts off oil supplies, water is essential for human survival, but it's often taken for granted in peacetime. In a World War scenario, water would become a precious commodity. With water treatment plants offline and firefighting capabilities diminished, basic tasks such as washing your hands or flushing a toilet could become major challenges. Some countries would emerge from the conflict as victors, while others would be left broken and defeated. The geopolitical landscape of the world would be completely transformed. Special forces would conduct covert missions to take out high-value targets, and the battle for public opinion would rage on every front. 1. Food shortages. In today's globalized world, we've all become accustomed to having a wide variety of foods available to us at all times, but a world war would quickly put an end to that. With supply chains disrupted and agricultural production focused on feeding the troops, many of us would find ourselves facing food shortages. In extreme cases, people might even resort to eating insects or grass. The last thing you want to do is be caught off guard. So let's take a moment and explore this scenario, leading to shortages of food and other essential supplies. The global economy would likely collapse into chaos, and the stock market would probably crash. Investors would scramble for safety, driving up the price of gold and commodities. When people think of modern warfare, it wouldn't just be the countries directly involved in the conflict that would feel the effects either. Global supply chains would be disrupted. The effects of a world war would be felt far beyond the battlefield. For ordinary people like you and me, no. Number 2, no. 3. Energy shortages, no. 4. Inflation. A world war would cause massive inflation, leading to hyperinflation in extreme cases. No. 5. Healthcare. Number 6. No more privacy. During wartime, privacy becomes a luxury that few can afford. Number 7. Rationing. No. 8. Mass evictions. A world war would displace millions of people, both within and between countries. No. 9. A new world order. A world war would completely change the global balance of power. New alliances would form and old ones would fracture. Number 10. Nuclear winter. If a world war escalated to include nuclear weapons, the consequences would be catastrophic. A world war would be a devastating event, but it's important to remember that it's not the end of the world. Thank you for watching. What are your thoughts on this topic?